So I'm making this video because I'm currently working with a business coach, a mentor, who asked me to do something out of my comfort zone. As a trainer, we always ask our clients to do, to be out of their comfort zone. And for me, one of the things that makes me feel uncomfortable is oversharing. So he challenged me into a 7-day video challenge, which means that for the next 7 days I will be recording and posting a video. And in this first one, he asked me to share something that indeed makes me feel uncomfortable and that I don't really like to share. The story that I want to tell you is something that a lot of people know, that I have talked about before, but still makes me, the outcome still makes me feel anxious in certain situations and uncomfortable. So first of all, I want to say that I'm not out to name or shame anybody with this story, so that's quite important to know. So before I moved to London, I used to work as a dancer and a dance teacher. And over 10 years ago, I was part of a group of 5 girls, and we also used to teach in different locations to adults and children. Long story short, after a few years, our personalities started to clash. So we decided to break up the business. So a friend of mine and myself, we took the groups that we were teaching and so created our own business from that. That actually went very well. We still were teaching in different locations, so we hired venues by the hour. But we also developed the business into a little bit more, so we started doing bookings for dancers, for different events. Plus we had our own clothing line. And then again, after a while, we wanted actually a venue, a central venue, in which we could bring all of the groups together. Plus we could do the rest of our business. We looked for a while and eventually found a venue that was quite suitable, because we could build some offices in there too. We could have 2 rooms, so we could be teaching 2 classes at the same time, which it was quite expensive. This is 10 years ago that I'm talking about, so we're still very young, so for us it was quite expensive. So we got some advice from different people, and in the end decided to go ahead with it, signed the lease, and then we had another 2 months, I think, before we actually got the key. So we started doing some planning. Now, 2 days before we got the keys to the building, my friend decided that she didn't want to go through with it. She thought about it while we were planning things to set up the business, that she wasn't ready to commit, and so she took a step back. Now, I guess at that point, I could have said, okay, I'm not going to do it either. But as I said, the contracts for the lease were signed, and so I had to find a solution. My solution was that I would do it anyway. I honestly started it out full-heartedly, got massive support from family, friends, first of all, to get the building ready. There were some works that had to be done, but also afterwards to with the daily tasks. But the business was set up for 2 persons, and that made it quite hard to get everything done. I was the owner of the business, but at the same time I was the cleaner and everything in between. And I'm not making any excuses, but I wasn't good at marketing, wasn't good at advertising, so I really never got the full potential out of the business. I kept working my other jobs, like working at different schools, and my other dancing jobs. I kept on doing them too, of course, but with a lot more pressure, because there were so many bills to be paid in the school. Also in the school I had to be there often enough teach most of the classes myself and do most of the work myself, because hiring other people for it would cost me again money. So it was always about money, 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 and it really messed with the things why I started everything in the first place. So people were saying, for example, oh, you finally got your dream, you got your own dancing school. But my dream had always been, yes, to dance and to teach and to create and to share my passion. But when you always have to think about, is there enough money to make this business work? And there's so much pressure on you alone. It stops your creativity. It stops your passion for sharing, because your mind is so preoccupied with everything else. So after about 2 years, I was at the point where I was, to be honest, extremely unhappy, plus extremely anxious about the debt that had built up. So I decided to stop the school, which was one of the hardest decisions I think I've ever had to make in my life, because I felt very ashamed. I felt I had let a lot of people down, like especially my students that had been with me for years, my clients, my family and my friends that had been there, that had supported me, and this created a lot of problems actually in the years after that too, because I kept on feeling that shame. I kept the notion of being a failure, of having failed, always in the back of my mind, and I basically, never felt good enough for anything afterwards. I'm still cleaning up some debt from then, which is not important, but that's also one of the things when I said in the beginning that this still makes me anxious up until today. I have an extreme fear of not being able to pay my bills on time. Of course, time heals all things, and at one point I started to feel better about myself again. And although this is against my character, what I'm doing now, I have to admit that I still struggle with a few things, like undertaking bigger things. I'm not as adventurous as I was before. I still hold back, especially in business. I hold back quite a lot. And I find myself to make excuses often for who I am or who I want to be. So what did I learn from it? And to be honest, I've written these things down because I guess I learned from it, but I still really, really need to work on myself to believe these things. So, I learned that failure happens. It will continue to happen, but that's okay, because you will get back up from it. And you can have your mourning period, if you will, but after a certain time, you have to stop blaming other things, people, situations, and especially yourself for what happened. It's okay to feel defeated. It's okay to feel depressed sometimes, but just believe that you will get back up. What I really, really realize is that it's not okay to not feel good enough. For everybody, if you do what you really want to do, what you sincerely want to do, what you have a passion for, then you are good enough. And if you want to share that with other people, go ahead, because you are good enough. You should never stop believing that good things will eventually come your way, as cliche as this might sound. I also want to say that basically to my friend, the person I was supposed to go in business with, is that I know that you have been struggling too, and I see that you are doing your thing now and that it's working out really well for you, and I just want to say that I'm happy for you, and that I wish you good luck with it. So there's a call of action here. If you know anybody that you think can be helped with seeing this story, and then especially the things I've learned from it, feel free to share this video with them, because I know that seeing other people making some sense of a messy situation can create hope. Well, so thank you very much for sticking through this with me and watching me overcome my uncomfortableness. And if you want, check out my next video tomorrow. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Bye.